This is War Room Moments, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and most relevant people on the planet, hear their stories, and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success, and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. War Room Moments is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board. Here's your host, Jason Miller.
Welcome to today's episode of War Room Moments. Today we have Todd Anderson on, and Todd is a video guru. And Todd and I have known each other for, has to have been a couple years now. And Todd is my guy, does all my video stuff. And Todd, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate you having me. This will be fun.
Cool. Yeah. It's supposed to be fun.
Hell yeah. Good.
Well, hey, why don't you take a minute to introduce yourself, Todd, and tell everybody what superpower is.
So I do video production, like you said, and I do voiceover initially, with a background in broadcasting and in school and stuff. I always kind of had that creative itch to create audio stuff, commercials. And then, finally, after messing around for 10 years and not pursuing it, I decided maybe I should try to do this. So I tried to do this. And as I got into more voiceover, I kind of evolved that into video. And so while voiceover was really my passion, now video is kind of what I do. And I've only been doing video for about a year and a half now, but I've really fallen in love with it. And it's just like a constant learning process. So that's my superpower. But while I say my superpower is video, I feel like I don't consider myself as much of as like the video expert as far as from a production standpoint. I'm more of like a talent and a personality and a creative, I guess. So it's more than just like the technical side of video, because that's not, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Who exactly am I? I struggle with that every day. That's why I didn't get any sleep last night.
I understand, though. If I were to say what your superpower would be that, people can come to you and just dump the idea, and you take the idea and you make it something really great.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
very
I'm not gonna
creative.
be like, I'm the best, but yeah, I think creativity is what that's what gets me going.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you're good at it.
It's the creative process. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that kind of segues us into our discussion topic, right? Of video production, how it's so important, how it's so important for businesses to be able to showcase what they do, so on and so forth. What are the trends you're seeing now with video, and how people are using video? Is it different? Is it the same? Have things gotten more video heavy? So on and so forth.
Yeah. There's a very heavily overused cliche called video is king. And it's correct. With so many different forms of media vying for our attention, it's like there's no other form that's going to grab our attention more so than video. And the more video that there is, the less attention span that the people that are consuming media have. So it's becoming much more important. But what also is happening is, now that everybody's got a cell phone, and now that we have platforms like TikTok and all that kind of stuff, viewers are shifting toward, they want authenticity. And that's where video is going right now. They want authenticity more than they want something that looks professional and well presented and edited and that kind of stuff. People just want to relate, and that's what they want. People want a connection because, yeah, so that's kind of where I see that it's shifting right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen that just over the course of the last couple years. It's like you're starting to kind of see a lot of the traditional approach to video.
Yeah.
And now it's like iPhone out on a run, that kind of thing, and talking to the audience or whatever the case may be, because it is really authentic for sure. And I think it obviously it has its place, but a professional video does have its place in a business too.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't go to, a Fortune 50 company and they're going to have video quality production video, right?
Exactly.
It's not going to be the CEO walking around with his iPhone, right?
Right. But that's the interesting part, because there's still a place, like when it comes to video and any type of marketing materials, whether it's audio, these are the two things that I do, audio and video. When I say that there's a trend that's shifting in a different direction, that means that these are things that people are implementing on top of that professional video that they have. So I think as my technology has gotten better and my skills have gotten better, I'm being able to provide both. But it is funny how on demand these like natural looking videos are. I have to put in a lot of my services now. Do you want me to record this on my professional camera setup or on my iPhone? And well over half of my customers are saying, oh, make it look relatable, put it on your iPhone. I'm like, oh, okay. Wow. Interesting.
Wow.
So that
is interesting.
Yeah, a lot of companies that I'm seeing right now, like I just did some work for Hopper, the travel flight booking app. I did some videos for them, and I'm looking at clients that are doing similar type of marketing stuff that are established as professional, and apps like BetterHelp for therapy. They're implementing all this video that they're spraying out onto the internet that is super, super amateur. And it's just interesting because to me, when I see this, it doesn't like diminish the it doesn't make me think any differently about their brand because they've already established themselves. So anyway, I just find it interesting that the direction a lot of these videos are going right now, and that they're implementing such like unprofessional stuff. And not to say like, hey, you should hire me because I can also do unprofessional work. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you the trends that I'm noticing.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Why do you think that is though? Why have we made such a crazy shift from yeah, I get it. It's about being relatable to people and things too, but you used to see that more in the more solopreneur space, right?
I think go ahead. And
not so much in the like professional business space, right? Mm-hmm.
So what businesses are looking for is user generated content. And so what they want is they don't want to see a guy on camera with a perfect setup and a suit on and like perfectly well spoken, and because they know, oh, that guy was hired to read a script to pitch this company, versus the other way is, oh, some random person is just talking about this and they're not trying to sell me anything. So I think people are tired of feeling like they're being sold. So they just want to see like some random guy or gal, like give them their experience and give them the unbiased feedback, because it appears to be unbiased. Little do you know, like this person's actually being paid to make this content, but it just seems more authentic and less salesy, I believe.
So it's more like people want to buy. They just don't want to feel like they're being sold something.
We are all consumers, man. That's
I mean, everybody's crazy. A consumer, right? We all buy stuff.
Yeah.
So, but you
Trying to
don't
be
go
less of
into,
one, but
yeah, right.
while
But
trying to make others more of one.
right. But you don't see a commercial for King Supers that somebody's walking around with a banana. This is one fine banana. Would you like to buy this banana? Well, maybe there is. I don't know.
Although if there was a new grocery chain that like popped up in Boulder or whatever, I'd probably do that commercial. Be like, get over here. We don't do Chiquita over here. They've monopolized the banana industry enough. Here, we work with Dole.
That's right.
And people are like, are you kidding me? Like, okay, maybe I'm intrigued. And if anything, it's giving you brand awareness that like, hey, there's something besides Safeway and King Supers or Whole Foods around here.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what really works, because half the commercials that I see on television, I'm like, get out of here. You think that's going to work? I mean, yeah, it's most of the commercials that I see are effective in the sense that people are aware of the brand, but I just don't feel like they're convincing somebody of something, because the objective of most of these commercials is, here's why our service is great. Come check it out. People are like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Well, kind of. Well,
if you know anything about sales, are you going to go into a sales meeting or like meet with a client and be like, all right, so I think you should definitely sign on with us because here's the results we've had. Here's how we can help you. Here's a testimonial. No, they want to get to know you first.
Yeah, right.
So how are you going to get on a video and be like, hey, check this out right now? There's got to be one other element to it that intrigues them, because obviously you can't get to know a viewer in 30 seconds. I'm not saying that, but you just have to find that approach. And that's what I struggle with the most, is because sometimes I create content to where I get a script, and I like getting a script because honestly, that's less work for me.
Right.
So I just follow the script and I do it. But then I'm like, that's where the conflict is balancing creativity and authenticity with the specific objective that the company wants. So in the grand scheme of things, where I want to be is to be able to work with companies who want more traditional media marketing, like who want to build a commercial that goes on television, but they trust me and my team to just take the reins and say, look, if you want a commercial that looks like everything else, then like do that. But there's got to be a different approach, especially on a medium like television, where like these commercials have been around forever. I just want to do something a bit more unique, to where, if anything, people remember it, because that's the goal. Like, you want them to remember it. So I just feel like I have
like Squatty Potty, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you remember that. Right? You got a freaking unicorn pooping ice cream. I mean,
no, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's a very memorable, right?
Mm-hmm.
I still remember it, and that was freaking 5 years ago. And I still remember that commercial. So I remember that stupid unicorn sitting on a Squatty Potty thing, and there's kids going underneath it with ice cream cones, and it's pooping ice cream in the cone.
Yep.
It's just like, wow, who thought
this is what you need? How can we talk about bowel movements on television? That's the perfect way to do it.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a very appropriate way to address that topic.
Well, I think a lot of people just want to laugh too, right? They want to see something and engage in it, and it's fun, and it's not always so serious all the time, right?
That's my thing. Like, I can be a very serious person, and I'm serious about what I do, and I'm serious about being a professional, and I'm serious about providing the absolute best service that I can. But with video, if you're just like you're on your phone, you just watch 10 videos and you're laughing like crazy, and then a video comes on, it's like, hi, my name's Todd Anderson, and I'd like to talk to you a minute about this company. You're like, I don't have time for this. I'm trying to be entertained.
Right.
I just watched 40 videos being entertained, and now you want to like not entertain me? Is that what you're trying to do? Right. No.
Yeah, major buzzkill, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a great lesson to take away from this conversation, though. For the viewers, is, you know, gosh, try to create things that, you know, are light spirited. They are, you know, they're engaging. They talk about the things you want to talk about, but it has to interest the audience, right? I mean, otherwise, what's the point of doing it? So.
Exactly. And you know, there's some products that you're going to be talking about that, like, maybe this isn't going to be the most entertaining video ever, and like they're not going to be watching the ad over again, but right. Hey, check this out. I mean, that would be great, but
there is only so many ways you could make Tide probably fun, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So, I mean, obviously within its realm of things, I suppose, too, but anyway, what do you think if you could drop a golden nugget on the audience when it comes to video stuff, what would that be to a young entrepreneur coming up that wants to use video, but just doesn't know how for sure?
Well, if you want to, just get on YouTube and start consuming content and start learning whatever you want to learn. It's all there. And create, you got to start creating, like, that's it. But that's also interesting too, because you just got to get out of your comfort zone. Basically, it's just like anything else in life. If you want to be successful at something, you want to try something, at first when you're learning, you have to get outside of your comfort zone because it's going to be new. And the biggest hurdle that most people face that want to be creatives and create stuff is, you know, imposter syndrome and seeing themselves on camera, hearing their own voice. I just don't like how my voice sounds. Right. Everybody on the planet, when they hear their voice, they're just weirded out. But then once you hear your voice for a couple of hours, you're like, oh, you can't actually hear the difference in your head. But there's so many hurdles you face. Just learn, and most important, just start creating videos, start a YouTube channel or something, put out videos with no expectations on who's watching or how many people are watching. But you just have to take those reps and start creating stuff. And all of a sudden, each video is going to get a little better. If you're too embarrassed to show it to anybody else, be as critical of yourself as you can and find small ways to get better every time. And, furthermore, show it to a friend, have them critique it, but you just got to go. You got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's a great piece of advice because,
yeah.
I'd never did a podcast or anything like that. And I just freaking did it. Right. So you just do it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Just do it and have fun with it.
Right. Yeah. So, and that's also something that I've struggled with is going back to TikTok. People like, I'm making all these TikTok ads and I'm working with some great clients, and it's like, TikTok's not really what I want to do, but it's like, there's a huge shift in focus in TikTok. And so that's kind of like, it's a lot of what I'm doing right now. But a lot of clients are saying, oh, can we look at your TikTok? And I'm like, no, because I don't really make my own videos. I do this for a living. So now I'm like, but what if I did have my own TikTok and I had 100,000 followers? How much more value could I provide?
Right.
So now I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to start making TikTok videos. So I make these TikTok videos and I'm like, oh, that's kind of dumb. I don't know if I want all of my friends to see that. But it's like, who cares? Does it really matter?
Right.
Like,
not really.
And this is just more of a life thing, but like, who cares what anyone else thinks?
Yeah, right.
I guess, and this is part of me just like getting outside of my comfort zone. So whatever.
Yeah. Well, we all got to do that, right?
Yeah.
For sure. So,
yep.
and then kind of leading into, sharing a business struggle that you've had throughout your business career and life. And the whole point of sharing that is a lot of these young kids, we have Gen Z, and that's the up and coming generation of business owners, right? So if you were to share a struggle with that young 22-year-old up and coming, going to be a CEO and run his own business, what would you tell him?
What would I tell him if he's struggling or what?
No, what would you relate a struggle of your own experience, right? And what would you tell him? This is what I did to, deal with that specific struggle.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I'm still not understanding your question. I'm pretty creative, but I'm not the smartest, Jason.
So what's a business struggle you've had?
Oh, what I've had. Yeah.
And, how did you effectively deal with that struggle? How did you deal with it?
Gosh, I don't know if this is a good answer or not, but like, especially when you're first starting out, it's like things are going really well. And then things are slowing down all of a sudden and you can't really understand why. And then you start to doubt yourself. Like no matter what you're doing as a career or as starting your own business, like there's going to be times that are not, as prosperous as others. And for me, it was in the beginning when I first started to see success, and then that success started to dip off for whatever reason. It's like, don't doubt yourself, because whatever momentum you had that you thought that you may have lost, you gotta keep at it, stay at it. If you got to get a side hustle, like delivering groceries or something, doesn't matter. Like, figure out a way to get the cash flow. Like, we're living in the future. If you need cash flow, you can find it. It's not a problem, but stick to what your objective was. Figure out a way to just stick with it and stay. Just keep going. That's all I can. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Cash flow is easy. I mean,
right.
So like, there's always a way you can do what you want to do. Just keep going, And it's hard. I mean, easier said than done. But there's so many people that aren't following their dreams because they believed the doubts that were in their head that they just made up, that weren't actually true.
Right.
And that's the main reason why somebody's clocking in to a 9-to-5 and just going through the motions of life, is because they succumb to their doubts. And those doubts are just your head, your mind just made up those doubts. They're not actual reality. So,
right. That's 100% spot on. Right. Because I think a lot of, even mature business owners go through that too sometimes.
Absolutely. And it's a real thing in your head.
Yeah, sure it is.
When you're up at night trying to sleep, like, it's a real thing right here. But here, it's not. Out here, total. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. That's a good piece of advice for anybody, not just for a new business owner.
Right.
Well, hey, to kind of wrap this up a little bit, start wrapping things up. If you could pick somebody that could have been on the show with us today, friend, mentor, somebody that you trust, dead or alive, doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
that could have had this conversation with us, and you could have asked that one question, that one burning question in your mind, to them, who would that be? Who would you invited to the show?
I would probably say my grandfather. He passed in about 10 years ago. And so I didn't know him super long in my adult life. So probably my grandfather. He went through a lot of adversity throughout his life, grew up in the Depression, somehow lived through cancer in his 40s when he wasn't supposed to, started a new career, and did very well. He was always like somebody I could look to talk about investments and stuff. So I think it'd be fun to pick his brain about investments and just perseverance and just like the pursuit of what I'm doing. I think he could have shed some light on it, because he was somebody in my life who just like, you know, when you think about all the best people, you know, like he was probably the guy. So like his advice on just business in general and investing and the pursuit, I think would be very interesting to talk about with where I am now, because back when he was alive, I'm at a desk job that I am totally unfulfilled with. So career wise, I never like talked to him about anything like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that would probably be it.
Yeah. And that generation, man, you want to talk about adversity and had to suck it up, sweetheart. Right. I mean, right. There was you didn't get to have a bad day, period.
No.
Because if you had a bad day, there was no food on the table.
Well, my grandpa talked about fond memories from Christmas. And he said, like, fond memories. He wasn't talking like, oh, Christmas was hard. He said Christmas was incredible because we got new cardboard inserts for the bottom of our shoes, and we got a sack of peanuts and an apple from the church. It was awesome.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it was. Like, if that's what you had to look forward to at that point in your life. And that was like one of my big life lessons. Like, gives you a lot of perspective. And now Gen Z is growing up in the easiest generation ever, but they're probably going to be the smartest generation ever because they have unlimited access. Like this generation is growing up with information, with infinite information.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think it's always easy for us to be like, well, this next damn kids these days, they don't understand. It's like, yeah, but they're probably going to be smarter than any other generation ever.
Yeah, probably. Right?
And that's hard to say as you know, as you get older, but like, it's probably true because I don't know.
Yeah. Well, hell, I see it already.
I know, right?
Hell, I got a 3-year-old and she already knows how to use an iPhone, for crying out loud. It's insane. It's crazy. Yep. But that's what they're growing up with.
Exactly.
You know, when I was a kid, we didn't have all that. It was like, get outside. I don't want to see you till freaking dinner.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, well, cool. Well, hey, how do people get a hold of you to work with you, Todd? Give your little company plug, and how do people contact you to work with you, and so on and so forth?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's so sad, but my website is actually launching within the next week. So it's minchgreencreative.com.
Awesome. Well, hey, it was great having you, Todd. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. Me too.
As always, it's always good to have a conversation with you. And keep doing good things, brother.
You too. I'm glad you got the podcast. I'll be interested to check out all the other episodes.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks again, brother. Again, appreciate it so much that you came to the show. And
absolutely.
We'll speak real soon, I'm sure.
Sounds like a plan, man.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for listening and watching the War Room Moments today. And remember, always dream it, believe it, achieve it. It's Jason Miller, podcast host, signing off.
Thanks for listening to War Room Moments with your host, Jason Miller. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we'll see you on the next episode.